She could never be a mother. One human night, and her belly's swollen with 5. Tide lanterns burned soft blue above Nareth Station. Lysara walked beneath them with her hands in her work coat, pretending not to hear the brood hymn from the plaza. The notes were meant to wake sleeping chemistry. They had never woken anything in her. A klaxon cut the song from Dock 7. "Reactor intake breach," the intercom said. Lysara was already running when the human matched her stride. He wore the gray of a field doctor and the stubble of someone who slept where he fell. "Aaron Vale," he panted. "You know the station. I know her arteries. Stay close." They dove into the problem. Oxygen lines were snarled with ice. A cargo scow had clipped the intake. Patients lay on stretchers, breath fogging. Aaron's hands were quick. Lysara's were precise. By the time they sealed the breach and shunted heat back into the dock, human night, had fallen across the station clocks. The med bay doors slid open and matriarch Egil stepped in, her crest ring heavy with clan bronze. Panic shadowed her eyes. "The cryobank failed," Egil said. "The surge fried the incubators. 5 eggs unbonded. Hours before they perish. We need carriers." Her gaze slid past Lysara. "Whole carriers." "Human incubators could work," Aaron offered. "But without a primer our epigenetics won't translate. I have a reseeder, medical nanocytes that wake and repair reproductive tissue. If we had a volunteer." "A risk," Egil cut in. "A stranger's machines rewriting sacred flesh?" Lysara's hand lifted before shame could tug it down. "I'll do it," she said. "If it fails, you lose only a hollow shell." Egil's mouth tightened. "You'd die for this clan but would not live for it." Aaron's voice gentled. "She's volunteering to live for them. May change you, Lysara. May fail. Our window closes at dawn." Consent forms pinged through tablets. In a small room rinsed in sterile gold, Lysara lay back and watched Aaron assemble a device like a delicate thorned flower. The eggs, pearled ovals the size of thumbs, floated in a nutrient bath beside her. "Tell me about your night," she said to steady breath. "In space," he murmured, slipping a catheter beneath her skin. "Night is when you can hear your own heart." The nanocytes went in with a cool bloom. 1,000 invisible artisans rushing toward the temple of her unlived future. "It's when you choose what to carry." "What do you carry, Aaron Vale?" "Names," he said. "Of the ones I couldn't save." The reseeder hummed, then quieted. Warmth spread low in Lysara's belly, an ache that was not pain. Aaron watched the monitor. She watched his face. He nodded. "Tissue responsiveness is good. If you still want this, we can implant." "Open the door," she said. "Let the song in." He cracked the hatch. Faint from the plaza, a handful of stubborn voices held vigil. The notes curled into the room. One by one, he guided each egg into the shelter of her made-new chambers. With each, the ache deepened and settled into presence, as if something had turned inside her. 5. The number fit her bones. They waited through the hours after. He told a story about mending nets on a world with too much sea. She told him about the first engine she rebuilt alone. She slept and woke to find his jacket over her knees. Human dawn arrived as the station lights shifted toward pink. Lysara sat up with care, both hands cupping the new curve rising above her navel. It was small but real as breath. Egil stood in the doorway. She did not come nearer, but her eyes did. They took in the curve, the monitors, the way Aaron's hand hovered near the bedrail. "You chose," Egil said. "I did," Lysara answered. "I chose them. You chose us." Egil's voice went low. You were never hollow, child. We were. Arguments followed. The committee demanded protocols and oaths. Some would not meet Lysara's eyes, as if a borrowed fire might burn them. Aaron transferred his supplies to a locker with her name and filed to extend his assignment. He bought bitter human tea and left half the packets in her kitchen without comment. Weeks unspooled in measures of heartbeat and monitor tone. She learned to climb ladders slowly. He learned the scent of plaza stew days and appeared with extra bread. At night she sent the eggs stories through her palms. How the station creaked. How the blue lanterns were not a lie but a hope. When the first faint chorus of prenatal hearts fluttered through the room, she wept. Not because she had been wrong about herself, but because all along she had been more than a word. On the evening before naming, the plaza filled with lanterns that were finally not pretending. Egil waited with pride held like a fragile pot. Aaron stood with Lysara in the glow. Wonder tugged at his voice. You carried them. No, she said, looking to the matriarch, to the sky that was metal but felt wide. They carried me. Through the worst of myself, into a world I didn't think I was allowed to touch. She took Egil's hand, she took Aaron's too. Between them, the future pressed gently, fivefold and sure, and the station hummed like a thing that had decided to live. The plaza lights burned like captured stars, casting their glow over Lysara's trembling hands as they cradled her belly. What had been a hollow space inside her was now alive with warmth, with motion, with the impossible truth that 5 new lives pulsed beneath her skin. Aaron stood at her side, his face gentled by awe. You carried them, he whispered, as though afraid the words might break the fragile miracle. Lysara shook her head, tears glinting. No, they carried me. Through every doubt, every night I thought I was nothing, they carried me into tomorrow. The crowd parted as matriarch Egil approached. The old leader's eyes, once filled with doubt, softened. She did not touch Lysara, but her voice broke with reverence. You were never barren, child. You were only waiting for the right night, the right courage, the right heart beside you. The voices of the clan rose then, the brood hymn filling the air. For the first time, Lysara felt its song settle deep inside her, not as a reminder of what she could never be, but as a promise of what she had become. Aaron slipped his hand into hers, steady and warm. Around them the clan gathered, no longer looking at her with pity but with pride, with gratitude, with hope. Lysara tilted her face to the lanterns, to the vast steel sky above the station. She had once thought herself a shell, but now she was the cradle of the future. 5 tiny heartbeats echoed inside her, beating in rhythm with her own. And for the first time in her life, Lysara whispered not in fear but in fierce joy. I am their mother.